I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on factor polynomials. In this series, we'll take a couple of test papers. I hope that will give you good practice. Here are 3 questions from previous test papers. I would like you to pause the video, copy these questions, answer, and then look into my suggestions. Now, we'll actually solve them one by one. I hope you must have copied these questions and tried them out at least once. Now let's look into their solutions. Some of you can also take this page as a worksheet. Question number 1. We have a couple of examples here to do. Factor x squared plus 3x minus 28 if possible. Otherwise, write not possible. So here we are looking for a product of two numbers to be equal to minus 28, that is this number, and the sum of two numbers as equal to 3. So 7 and 4 gives us this combination, right? So 7 and 4. Since we need plus 3, 4 will be negative, right? 7 will be positive. So those are the two critical numbers for us. So we can write this in factored form as x plus 7 times x minus 4. Clear? B. 4x squared plus 1. Now this is not possible to factor. So it's important to write down and understand the reason. So if I simplify this, I get 4x squared. Let's say we want to make this as equals to 0. We get 4x squared equals to minus 1. Now this is x squared, right? X squared cannot be negative, right? So that is not possible. So if there is minus here, you can factor. Otherwise, if both are positive terms, you cannot make it 0, right? Factor really means we are looking for a number which will make the expression as 0, right? That's what it means. So we'll take 25 minus x squared first. You saw that with plus sign, it cannot be factored, but with minus sign, this is difference of squares, right? And you could factor this. Since we have this as 5 squared minus x squared, so I could write this as 5 plus x times 5 minus x. Clear? So that is how we are going to factor. Now some of you can also write this as negative of x plus 5. Now this negative has come because of the second factor. We take minus common and we can write this as x minus 5. Okay. Now, we have an expression where we have both x and y terms. In this, you see 3 is a common factor, right? As far as xy is concerned, that is also a common factor. So we'll do a group factoring first. So we get 3xy, and within brackets, you get x squared. Divide 6 by 3, you get 2. And here, xy is already outside. So we get 12 divided by 3 as 4, xy. Right, so that is how we could actually factor this particular term. So we'll leave it right there. Now further, it cannot be factored. So let's move on and take the next example. So we are still in question number 1. The last two in question number 1 are 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. Now in this case, we are looking for product of two numbers to be equal to minus 15, right? Product of minus 5 and 3. And their sum should be plus 14. So the two numbers should be, yes, 15 and 1, right? So 15 and 1. Since we need plus 14, 1 will be negative. Now since we have a leading coefficient which is not 1, we'll split the center term 14x, right? So we can write this as equal to 3x squared plus 15x minus x minus 5. Now in the first two terms, you can take 3x as a common term. X and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Here minus is common, you get x plus 5. Now, x plus 5 is common in both the terms, you get 3x minus 1 in factored form. So that is how you're going to do it. Next one is 21m squared minus 31mn, 7mn minus n squared. Well, a couple of ways to do this. You could combine, for example, these two terms. 3 is common, m is common, right? You get 7m, right? So you will get a common factor. So let's do it. So in the first two terms, we'll group factor. We'll look into these two groups. 3m is common. So we get 7m minus n. Here, n is common. So you get 7m minus n. Now, 7m minus n is a common factor, giving us 3m plus n as the result, right? So that is how you're going to factor it. So I hope all the steps are absolutely clear, right? Let me give you one question to practice at this stage, which is also a bonus question, right? So let me write down a bonus question here. Bonus question is to factor 2x to the power of 8 minus 31x to the power of 4 minus 16, right? So you need to factor. Okay, let's move on and take question number 2 now. Factor fully. Now, we have 4x cubed minus 8x squared minus 60x. 4x is a common factor here. So first look for the group factors which could help you a lot, right? You get x squared, and here we get minus 2x. And here 60 divided by 4. 4 times 1, 20, you get 5, right? So that is what you get. Now, we're looking for product of two numbers to be minus 15, right? So product of two numbers to be minus 15 and sum of the two numbers as minus 2. So 3 and 5 can work for us, right? So we have 3 and 5. Since we have negative 2, 5 is going to be negative. So we could write this as 4x times x minus 5 times x plus 3. So that is how we are going to factor it. The next one, we are looking for product of 15 times 4, which is 60, with a negative side, right? And we're looking for sum of minus 4. Now what combination? 15 and 4. 60 can be written as, so let's write factors of 60, okay? So if you write factors of 60, you can say 10 times 6 is 60. And that combination can give you minus 4, provided 10 is negative. Is that clear to you? So in this case, we are going to split the center term as 15x squared minus 10x plus 6x minus 4. And now we'll group factor. So in the first two terms, 5x is a common factor. We get x minus 2 plus here we have 2. And we take 5x common. This is 15 divided by 5 is 3. So we get 3x minus 2. And here we can take 2 common. So we get 3x minus 2 there also. Taking 3x minus 2 as a common factor, we get 5x plus 2 as the other factor. So that is the factored form. Perfect. So that is how we are going to factor part B of question 2. Now here we have two more, part C and D. 52x squared y minus 13y. Now let's do group factoring. 13y is a common factor. So 52 is 4 times 13. It is 4x squared minus y. Now 13y, 4x square can be written as 2x whole square, right? Think like this. It can be written as 2x whole square, right? So it becomes difference of square. So you could factor this as 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. So this is an example of difference of squares. Perfect. The second one here is also an example of difference of squares. You can actually pause the video and answer this question now. So here, 81 is 9 square, right? Think like this. 9 square is 81 and x square whole square minus 4 square. So we could write this as 9 square plus 4 times 9 square minus 4. Now, 9x square can be written as 3x whole square, right? So we could further factor that part. This of course cannot be factored, but this one could be written as 3x plus 2 times 3x minus 2. So I hope you get it why, right? Since 9x square minus 4 can be written as 3x whole square minus 2 square. So that gives you these factors. Clear? Next question. Question number 2, part E and F. So we are having higher degrees now to factor in these polynomials. X to the power of 8 minus 11x to the power of 5 plus 24x squared. So x squared, right? So we could take common. Okay. Then what do we get? We get x to the power of 6, 2 less, right? Minus 11. 2 less will be cube plus 24. Okay. Now, we have a situation where the leading coefficient of the highest term is 1. Now, you could treat this as a quadratic form. Let me show you how. This is very critical. You could write this as x cube whole square, right? Minus. Here we already have x cube, right? Plus 24. Now think about it. Let x cube be your like another parameter. Let's say p or something, right? But anyway, we are looking for two numbers whose product should be 24 and whose sum should be minus 11. So the two numbers could be what? 8 and 3, right? So 8 and 3 and both negative. So we could have minus 8 and minus 3. That will work, correct? So let's split the center term and write it in this term way. But we could directly also write. So we could also write this as, now we'll write in terms of x cube, the whole thing, right? Okay, so we get here x cube, one of the term is minus 8, the other term is minus 3, x cube minus 3, right? So that is how you're going to factor it. Now, x cube minus 8 can also be factored. So I hope some of you remember this formula, which is a cube minus b cube is equal to a minus b times a square plus ab plus b square. So that helps you to factor. In case it is a cube plus b cube, then the sign changes like this. Is that clear to you? Right? So that is how the signs become. So we'll use this formula of difference of cubes. Since here we have x cube minus 8 is 2 cube, right? So I could write this as x squared, and x cube minus 3 cannot be factored, but this term can be factored. So I'm writing this as x minus 2, right? Since 2 cube is 8, right? Times x squared plus 2x plus 2 square, which is 4, times x cube minus 3, right? So that is how we are going to write it. Now again, for some of you, I'm writing this as the center term is x cube minus 2 cube, right? And then I've applied this formula, replacing a with x and b with 2. So you get this. Is that clear to you? Right? So that's how you're going to do it. To factor 16x to the power of 4 minus 25x squared plus 9. Now we have a product of 16 and 9 and a sum of minus 25. Well, we could use 16 and 9 itself. When you add them, you get 25. So both negative can work for us, right? So we'll split this center term and we could write this as minus 16 x to the power of 4 minus 9x to the power, square, plus 9, right? This is square. Okay. Now, in the first two terms, we can take 16x square common. We get x square minus 1. Then we can take 9 common. So we get x square minus 1. We took minus 9 common. Okay. Now, then let me split this page. Okay. Then here we have 16x square. X square minus 1 is common. So we'll have x square minus 1. Well, wait. X square minus 1 is common. So we get 16x square minus 9. Now x square minus 1 can be written as x plus 1 times x minus 1. How about this term? Well, this can also be written as, this is 4x whole square minus 3 square, right? So you could write this as 4x plus 3 times 4x minus 3. Perfect. So that becomes your solution. So what we did here, understand, we have 16x square minus 9. We wrote this as 4x whole square minus 3 square, correct? And then we factored it. 4x plus 3 and 4x minus 3. Is that clear to you? Perfect. So that is how we are going to do it. Now, in your work, you may go directly just as I have given, or you may introduce this step in between. That's your wish. Question number 3 is a very good question. Normally it is not seen in test papers. However, that is also factoring. Question number 3 is isolate x in the formula a square equals to bx plus 2 times 3 minus x. So let's see how to do it. So we have a square equals to bx plus 2 times 3 minus x. So we need to open this bracket and then take x terms common factor, right? We get 6 minus 2x. So we can bring 6 to the other side. So we get a square minus 6 equals to bx minus 2x. So we have a square minus 6 equals to x is common. We can write b minus 2. Now we can isolate x by dividing both sides by b minus 2. So we get x, correct? So we have our solution. We have isolated x as equal to a square minus 6 over b minus 2. Is that clear to you? Right? So that is how we are going to do this exercise. I hope you understand and you remember one bonus question which we are talking about. So let me write down that question now once again. So we are talking about to factor 2x to the power of 8 minus 31x to the power of 4 minus 16. You need to factor this, right? Not to forget. Well, in this case, we are looking for a product of minus 32, sum of minus 31. So what do you get? Well, 32 times 1. So you could write this as 2x to the power of 8 minus 32x to the power of 4 plus x to the power of 4 minus 16. So that should help you, right? So that is a hint to you. You could now, from the first two, take 2x to the power of 4 as common. So you get 2x to the power of 4, and dividing this, you get minus 16. Here, you have x to the power of 4 minus 16 already. So you could write this as x to the power of 4 minus 16 times 2x to the power of 4 plus 1, right? So that is how you are going to factor this. Now x to the power of 4 minus 16 can also be factored. So I will write this as equal to, let me just write it here, x squared plus, this is 4 square, right? Plus 4 times x squared minus 4. And here we get 2x to the power of 4 plus 1. Now again, x squared minus 4 can also be factored. So we get x squared plus 4 times, this is x plus 2 times x minus 2, and we have 2x to the power of 4 plus 1. So that is how you are going to factor the bonus question. So I hope with this you understand and appreciate how we could actually practice for our own test. This playlist has got very good examples. Feel free to go through them, make your suggestions, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.